system.
We also went one-on-one with Congresswoman Julie Johnson of Farmers Branch, who's in the Democratic primary runoff against former Congressman Colin Allred in the 33rd Congressional District. She discussed the war and the ongoing DHS shutdown.
We want to see a complete overhaul of what this agency is doing. We want them to target the violent criminals, for sure. But what they're doing and the way they are doing it is unacceptable. They're just picking up people who are just going to work, who are working in this economy, taking care of their family with no active criminal threat or conviction.
And we've had, in the last couple of weeks, including in Austin, 4 attacks, incidents, some of them deadly, in which they are now being investigated as terrorist acts. And so how long should DHS be shut down while we have these incidents going on, unfortunately?
I know it's terrible what's happening. I hope that we can get together in D.C. and reach some solutions to be able to reopen the government and keep the people's business doing. We have a lot of important work with transportation, the Coast Guard, and other agencies that fall within DHS, as you imply. But at the end of the day, the way ICE was led under Kristi Noem, thank goodness she's gone. We'll see what the new head does, if they change their protocols, if they change their rules and their operating procedures, then that will be significant. If they keep business as usual, then I don't think Democrats are inclined to continue to fund it.
And so this will just keep going on and on?
We'll see, reforms need to be made.
I talked to Congressman Roger Williams last week, and he said ICE has been funded. So he said, you don't shut down a whole industry while you have disagreements, you work it out.
Well, you know what? You have to be able to work it out. And Republicans have been refusing and unwilling to negotiate with Democrats. The workout is not just do what we want, shut up and vote. That's not the workout. That's not how it happens.
And let me ask you about the Iran war. Where are you on this?
I think the war is illegal. I think it's, where are we going to stop? It's costing the U.S. government billions of dollars a day. And there's been no authorization from Congress. It's outrageous what is happening. We need to have a clear exit strategy. Right now, Trump just bombed another country with no clear plan, no clear plan of dissolution, no clear plan of how do we stop this. He's threatening boots on the ground. That's a war to me that requires Congress's involvement.
Back in when President Obama was in office, there was bombing of Libya, never went to Congress. And at the time, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, said wasn't necessary. So what's changed?
I wasn't in Congress back then, so I can't speak to that. I'm in Congress now. And what I've been briefed on and what I understand, I think Congress should be involved. And I think Trump acted illegally.
What do you say to those who say, look, you're talking about this regime in Iran, and the White House has on its website a whole list of attacks that Americans, most of them U.S. military members, killed from April of 1983 through June of last year. And I counted it all up, and it was 992 Americans, again, mostly U.S. service members, but American civilians as well, who've been killed by either Iran or its proxies, all of them designated as U.S. terrorist organizations. What do you say to that?
Well, there's no doubt that Iran is an enemy of the United States, and Iran's government is horrific. It engages in gross human rights abuses and needs, a complete whole-scale restructuring of how that country functions. There's no disputing that at all. And Iran is a terrorist threat to Israel. It's a terrorist threat to the United States. It's a terrorist threat to many across the world. But there was no acute, immediate need for bombing that country at that time, from what I'm aware of, and that the Congress shouldn't have been involved, such that we couldn't have a deliberative process, such that we couldn't have a thoughtful strategy on what is our goal, what is our end game, what is our mission, and how does it end?
It's been reported, you tell me if you've heard otherwise, but it's been reported that the negotiators from Iran told the U.S. Negotiators that they were close to having 11 nuclear bombs.
Well, they cannot be allowed to have nuclear weapons. That is absolutely clear. Iran cannot be a nuclear power.
So if Iran can't be, then why isn't this war the right way to go about it?
Well, I think there's other ways to enforce, whether or not they're a nuclear power. I don't know exactly what the status of their nuclear armament was. I know that Trump bombed this country not too long ago and saying that he had dismantled their nuclear armorations. So, we'll have to see. I think a lot more information is required before we can really thoughtfully go there.